Number 7. Did the COVID pandemic freak you out and you're still not over it? You're probably not crazy, but you just might be amygdala hijacked. Pandemic trauma and amygdala hijack part 7. So the polyvagal theory, or the polyvagal hypothesis, is a set of hypotheses regarding nervous system regulation and dysregulation. And it postulates that our nervous system evolved to, quote, support reactions and challenges that were acute and then promote recovery, health, growth, and restoration. Co-regulation is needed for this. Let me repeat that. Our nervous system evolved to support reactions to challenges that were acute, and then to promote recovery, health, growth, and restoration. Co-regulation is needed for this. And this is a quote from Stephen Porges, the originator of the theory and hypotheses. So co-regulation means being in community with others, which helps us to emotionally repair and move back to our rest and digest state. Our zone of emotional regulation, if you will, our wise mind. But this was exactly what was assertively discouraged through the pandemic lockdown and quarantine measures. Our ability to co-regulate was expunged by extended pandemic separation, which meant our ability to integrate our COVID big T and or little t traumas was impaired and impeded through the separation and lockdown measures that were implemented in a desperate but ultimately vain attempt to control the pathogen. So we got stressed out by all the pandemic awfulness, which didn't let up for weeks, months, and sometimes years. And that awfulness was compounded by the lack of opportunity to integrate our COVID trauma in community with others. As I say, being stuck in a constant trauma state is not good for us. It's not good for us psychologically, biologically, metabolically, or as a civic entity. The siege mentality that we were in, being constantly amygdala hijacked, may have wreaked havoc on our health and functioning. As I mentioned earlier in this series, too much stress hormone for too long is literally toxic. Not just for our mental health, but for our immune system health, and evidence is forming to suggest also potentially problems such as metabolic disease, disturbed sleep-wake cycles, reproductive health issues, inflammation, acne, high blood pressure, weight gain, weight loss, memory problems, and even bio-emotional dysregulated gut disorders and more. How might this play out? So to illustrate, perhaps let's look at a typical day in the life of a chronically amygdala hijacked person. So you hit the chronically amygdala hijacked person hits 11 a.m. on a typical workday, and 30 minutes after their 4th cup of coffee, they're exhausted. They drag their way through the rest of the day, barely functioning at work, looking forward to bed, only to find themselves deeper into nighttime, awake and overstimulated. They're tossing and they're turning, and they're compulsively doom scrolling through their social media, or they're binge watching Netflix, or they're binge gaming, or they're binge shit posting on Reddit or Twitter until 3:30 a.m. and then freaking out because they've dissociated in front of the computer again and they've got to get up for work in a couple of hours. So self-medication with alcohol or gambling or prescription medication might be too common in their life, as might be petty squabbles with loved ones, comfort food binging, and a general ill ease and lack of pleasure, and a lack of joy and groundedness in their life. They might struggle to feel grounded in relationships and self-sabotage. They might struggle with labile moods like drastic and rapid mood state shifts. They might struggle with dysphoria, unease, and they might struggle with anhedonia, which is an inability to feel pleasure. So add to this gut or bowel problems such as constipation or loose stools, queasiness, heartburn, general inflammation, menstrual problems such as pain or irregularity, other fertility issues, and so on. So I'm not saying that these issues are only due to amygdala hijack. There can be other causative factors and reasons, but I'm suggesting that all of the above issues and more, this kind of multidimensional yuck that one might be experiencing, it's not because you're crazy, but rather that you've been too influenced by too much stress response for too long.